Hey guys, so I am fortunate enough that I got my friend to bring out his Lambo. It's a Huracan Evo and I have the C8 as well. So let's go take a look at both cars and find out, is the C8 really a supercar? Is there any comparison or are they just a class of their own? Both 2020 models, both same paint color, same interior. Let's go take a look. All right, so here I have the Corvette C8 2020. This is a 1LT base model. They start out at about $60,000. Let me give you guys a little bit of a wider view. Red interior. I have the mid-engine compartment open for you guys so that you guys can take a look at the inside. And here is the rear end of the Corvette. Now I had my friend bring out his 2020 Lamborghini Huracan, which is also a mid-engine, and it is absolutely gorgeous as well. So the question is the C8 supercar-ish at all? Or is this what you call a real supercar? Is there any comparison? Or is the C8 just great perceived value for the price that you pay? This is a $200K plus car, a V10. This starts at $60,000. This is a V8, 600 plus horsepower. This is around $490. Just two very different cars. If you ask me, my opinion, to me, this car is like a grizzly bear. And when you drive both of them next to each other, this is kind of like a puppy. But depending on how much money you're willing to spend, the C8 is not a bad deal. So let me know what you guys think between these two cars. One is a quarter of the price and the other one is a couple $100,000. Sounds completely different. Looks pretty different, but the C8 also has a pretty great look. Do you think the C8 can be classified as a supercar, or does it just look cool enough for what it cost? Whereas a Lamborghini, of course, there is no debating that's a supercar. The Lamborghini Huracan actually is #1 on Doug DeMuro's list, and the C8 is #4, which is not a bad ranking. And you can definitely check out Doug DeMuro's video on it, and he'll kind of go through all of his scoring. But I thought that was pretty awesome. Now, in between these two cars is the Ferrari 488 Spider and then the McLaren 720S. So for the C8, that's actually a great look that it was ranked so high on Doug DeMuro's scorecard. And Lamborghini ranked #1. So actually meeting up with my friend with that 2020 Lambo Huracan Evo, that was super unplanned and kind of just randomly ended up happening. So it was really cool because it ended up being actually a very eye-opening experience, and I'm really glad I got to do it. So, you know, when I first picked up the Corvette today, right away, the second that I saw it for the first time in person, the moment that I got into it, it felt really supercar-ish. And the first drive that I took it on, it felt so good. The engine felt completely different from the C7. I mean, just the whole experience was nothing like what the C7 is, and it was amazing. I mean, I was really blown away by how well this car drove, how it felt, the body lines on it, just everything. They did a great job on the interior. That steering wheel is amazing. And then when I met up with my friend with the Lambo, I was like, wow, okay, here's a real comparison between a car that is, you know, in the range of $200,000 to $300,000, and that is a real life supercar that is very expensive, has a lot of power. It's a V10. I mean, that thing is an absolute beast. And yes, definitely, when you drive a Corvette C8, a 1LT, next to a monstrous V10 Huracan, I mean, it's comparing apples to oranges, right? This all of a sudden doesn't feel like a supercar. It just doesn't have that oomph to it. So is the C8 a supercar? I think it depends, right? I think that if you are just really experiencing the C8 in itself, it is an incredible car. But of course, if you're driving a C8 next to this gorgeous Lamborghini or a Ferrari 488 Spider or even a McLaren 720, you know, it's gonna feel different. So it just really depends. But I have to say that Corvette, GM, Chevy, they have just done such a phenomenal job on this C8. And you know what I thought about today is that they really did the one thing that makes people successful, that makes businesses successful, and that is they added value to one of their best products that they have. I mean, they just did a complete, at least in my eyes, a complete 180. The amount of value that they added to this C8 for the price, it's incredible. This car is going to become so popular as time goes on and as people can get their hands on it. I mean, I think that GM, this product's going to be a huge success for them. It's going to blow people away. The value that you get for the price, it's unbelievable. And no wonder why this was the Motor Trend Car of the Year for 2020. It makes all the sense in the world. And there goes my tripod. But you know, so I just wanted to share kind of my final parting thoughts on it. And again, it all depends on the person, right? And what you're kind of looking for and what you're into and what you can afford. But I think anyone who buys a C8, you definitely won't be disappointed. You can't go wrong. For me personally, just personally speaking, just my opinion is probably not a popular opinion, is I'm not a major fan of the Lamborghinis. It's just not my personal style in terms of a supercar. The C8, I love it. One of the things that I love about the C8 is that because of the low price point, so many people are fixing up this car, and it's really cool to see all the different things that people have done. Here in my area, every Saturday morning, there's a little event called Cars and Coffee. And just the C8s that I've seen there that have been all fixed up, they're awesome, right? But if we're talking strictly supercars, like for me personally, the car that I love is a Ford GT. Like if I were to ever get anything, and if I could even get my hands on a Ford GT, that is probably the route that I would go, because that's just more my style. I find that car to be, it's just, it leaves you in awe. It's jaw-dropping. It's really, in my eyes, that's like something really to look at. And all these cars are great, but again, it's just personal preference. So those are just my parting thoughts on the C8 versus the Lamborghini. Again, it's apples to oranges. I don't really think that you can compare them. However, if you're just like looking at them, I think that this C8, it holds up pretty well. There's just so much value built into this. My least favorite part of the C8 is actually the back end. For me, I personally find that it kind of looks a little bit like a Camaro. But other than that, I mean, it's awesome. It is so awesome. And the C7s got real popular, and I think these C8s are gonna far surpass what the C7s have done. So definitely check out Doug DeMero's video on this. He did a fabulous, thorough walkthrough on this, and I just really love his scorecard system. And I see now, after driving this car and having it for a day, and the way that it looks, and just the power behind its acceleration, the great design that they did in the interior, I see why he ranked it number 4 on his scorecard. So if you missed it, he ranked the Lamborghini Huracan as number 1. It was followed by the Ferrari 488 Spider, then it was the McLaren 720, and then it was the Corvette C8, which I think is a huge win for GM. So that's kind of my final take on that. I'm so glad I was able to do that. So hopefully this was a fun little video for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Saimah. This is Saimah's Experience, and if you like this channel, be sure to subscribe. Take care, guys.